Yeah, we're live.
Just a second. We have audio. And we have video. Someone confirm that we're live? All right, let's go.
Hi, folks. Welcome. We're a little slow tonight because of somebody forgot their gear.
Wrong bag.
Tonight is the final episode of the year, and we're finishing off our breadboards, Christmas gift, and we're gonna. I'll try to get this real quick because we got to get to work. We got a lot to do. So tonight, the end of the night, we're gonna do a draw. Of course, we use this as a fundraiser for our Purple Heart project. Remember, it's somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500 US per soldier. We do 36 soldiers each year. Now, that said, last time we did this, we raised just over $6,000. That was fantastic. So tonight, being Christmas, close to Christmas, we're going to draw names for a bunch of prizes. So if you donate $25 or any increment of $25 for each $25 increment, we're going to put your name in that once. And first prize is going to be the completed breadboard. Thank you. Second prize will be a wood hinge business card box, including the business card. This one is bird's eye, and I think it's Cocobolo. Third prize will be a Purple Heart marking gauge. Fourth prize will be a purple resin-impregnated dovetail saw, resin-impregnated maple. And thanks to Nick, who just brought this, I'm going to have Nick tell you what it is. He came in, he said, do you mind if I donate something to be raffled off tonight? Tell him what that is.
You get roasted bird's eye maple, some walnut.
No, what is it?
Oh, a charcuterie board.
And what do you do with it?
Serve food with it.
Okay. Well, where's that word come from?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. All right. How many woods are in it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 different types.
Really nice looking. And in case anybody's wondering, that's not just a butt joint in there. There's two mortise and tenons in there.
There's 2 tenons in there.
Yeah. Beautiful. So I want to put this somewhere. I don't know where. Ken, could you find a table or something so we can put all this stuff so it's visible so everyone will stick around to the end? And I got a Christmas present, favorite Christmas present. If you watch me on our online workshop, I can never find a notepad. So Angie gave me a Christmas present. And there's my notepad. So tonight I'll be taking... Yes. Paper, a pen, so I got an Angie pen, and a mug for when I get thirsty. What's the matter?
Jake's mic's not on.
Oh. So thank you, Angie. That was wonderful. I'll use this. I'll be taking copious notes. Now, we have a quick presentation to make. Are you sure this is the right size? Medium? This is Michaela. This is don't get overexcited. This is my niece, one of them, near the favorite. And it was her idea to come up with the wood doing good. So, and Angie picked the color. So there's your t-shirt to add to your collection. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you. And like the hat. What kind of contest were we going to have tonight? No, it wasn't that. Anyway, buy a t-shirt, help us promote our cause. That's why we sell the t-shirts. The more people that know about the Purple Heart Project, the better chance we have of somebody saying, you know what, I got a nephew, a brother, a neighbor, a cousin, hasn't been out of his house in 3 years. He needs this, and that's how we find them. Thanks, Ken. All right, I'm going to put the stuff over here. So it'll be, yeah, so we got to take one more minute, or maybe a couple. So we had a Vietnam vet in our class number 12. I think he was in class number 12. And he's from Alabama. And he had a bit of a rough time at first, but he became the Alabama? Mississippi, sorry. But he became the life of the party. And I think of all the what? Yeah, of all the success stories that we've had, and we've had enough of them, that's why we keep doing this. His was one of the best. We had some really, really interesting moments. And I know he went home a changed man because he's told me that. Anyway, but his dovetails, how would we describe them? Unforgettable. They were unforgettable. And they needed a little more work. So he said to us, direct quote, "Before Christmas, I will send you a perfect miter." Now, we were cutting dovetails. I'm not quite sure where the miter came in, but that was the direct quote. So this box came in the mail not that long ago. And this is on top. It says, "This must be opened in this order. Turn the battery box on until the flashing light comes on." So you get in here to the box, and you turn on the flashing lights. And then it says, open aluminum, press button on the card. There's a card here, you press the button. And then you open the tin foil. And unwrap the lights. And this is what you find. Canada and United States, well positioned, and that's Pete's dovetail that he is proud of. And Pete, I decided that you're only going to get a C on the dovetail, but you're getting a A+ on the presentation. That was over the top. So you no longer have to work on your presentation. Keep working on the dovetails. They're coming. Oh, so I salute you, Pete. Please don't donate through YouTube. YouTube takes 30% or more. It's ridiculous. So if you want to donate on our page, our homepage, RobCosman.com. Go under the Purple Heart Project, PHP. It says how to help, and down through there is the listings of all the different. Link will be posted as well.
I did.
The only thing, then the only thing we lose is the 2 or 3% that the credit card company or processing charge. Other words, we lose a bunch. And all of it, just so that you know, all of our donations go directly to our Purple Heart Project, whether it's flying the guys in, paying for meals, paying for hotels, tools. We bring in Luther, we bring in Super Dave as our helpers. So Jake and Luther and I do not take a salary out of this. We do cover Luther's expenses. I don't expect him to buy his plane tickets out of his pocket. The man puts in a tremendous amount of work. Unbelievable amount of work.
So Super Dave is here.
Soup.
Jeff O'Connor is here.
Jeff. You'll be getting a call soon. It is Patrick. I'm sorry, not Patrick. Philip.
I haven't seen
Philip
him yet.
Gustafson. Okay, so I got to go to work. But when you hear and when somebody says I'm a combat vet that was in one of the classes, please say something so I can acknowledge them. Huh? Say what? What's the matter? Oh.
Rob's homeless brother Dave has visited.
Yeah, that's my brother Dave. Did you come to drop off your donation? Did you? You want to come? Do you need help bringing it in? In a wheelbarrow, maybe?
It's pennies.
His middle name starts with a C. Cheap. All right. Poor Michaela. All right, now, where are we from last week, or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? So we got to get that dovetail together. We got to get that together right away so we can get the glue dried, so we can go in and finish this. This has already been planed on the inside. So, before we assemble it, we will plane. Which one are we going to plane? Either going to plane these two edges or these two edges. I can't remember which. Whichever one's going to make sense. And I'll explain that when I get there. So I got to chop these out. Need a good heavy mallet. What? Yeah, that would be nice. This is a Christmas theme, so Rex is getting the hot cider. I wish you were here to join us. It would be great if we could bring, if you're ever in this neck of the woods, arrange to come and be here for one of these. More the merrier, right, Michaela? This is how you love to spend your Saturday nights. All right, now, here's the danger with doing this. Unfortunately, I've already cut down through here. Is if I was chopping all the way through with the wood unsupported, you know, how it would be up from my piece of MDF, you'd risk breaking this off. But the fact that I've already cut down in through there, as long as I'm careful, I'll be all right. So I always chop. I got to remember to teach you what I'm doing. I always chop with my chisel in front of me like this so I can see Plum. If you're doing it like this, you have no way of referencing Plum. So chop like this. And people ask me all the time, how come you don't use a hold down? I don't need a hold down. I'm chopping straight down. The idea is you want to chop starting, if not perpendicular, slightly undercut, but never like this. You do it like that, you just gave yourself a ton more work. And you don't want to be way down like this because you'll risk having the chisel blow back behind your line. Ideally, you start plumb, and as you start to chop, the chisel naturally will start to undercut like that as the pressure of the waste builds up on the bevel and causes the chisel to slope down. That's all right. Let it happen. Now, get this right in the... What did he want? Nobody knows? What did Shark want?
Nothing.
His hug? What? Oh, my knee's killing me. How long is Jeer at home for?
He's off hockey for 9 days, so I'm guessing that's how long he'll be home.
Okay, I'll put this in the vise. Ooh, I don't like the way that got chewed up, and I can't even tell you why, because that chisel is good and sharp. Jake, where's my half-inch? No? I shouldn't be using the 17 degree on this hard maple either. I'm just going to go in there and pair that. I'm all right. This works. This works, yeah. No questions? Huh? Well, hello and Merry Christmas right back to you. I got to be careful. In fact, I better come out here. So if you missed the YouTube we did this week, I cut myself on my Sawstop. Actually touched the blade. If you want to see it, there's what it did, which that's a lot worse than what it looked like the day I actually did it. Repetitive cuts, turning quarter by quarter stock into an octagon to make wood hinge dowels. I was doing the last one, at least the last one for the time, and instead of using my little stick, I ran it with my finger, thinking that the blade was sitting low enough. And the thing that scared me was the noise that it makes when it fires. And then I realized I actually cut myself, and it was almost a surreal experience.
Donations are in Canadian or US funds?
Everything is in U.S., I think.
They can
You
Oh, can they
pay-
switch it?
You can switch it on the
They can
site.
pay in the Canadian equivalent, but the monetary amount is in US dollars.
So I get asked this frequently, so let me clarify. It's called the Purple Heart Project. The individual who inspired me was Jesse Paratus, who was a combat wounded Marine from Southern California. And Woodcraft, we didn't call it the Purple Heart Project when we first started. We didn't really call it anything. We were just trying to do something to help these guys. And Liz Matheny at Woodcraft called me up one day and said, look, we're going to help you. We're going to put it on the cover of our monthly catalog, which goes out to 250,000 or more people. She said, we need to have a name. And it was working with her, with Luther, that the name Purple Heart Project came up. And as it turns out, the majority of the soldiers, well, out of the 88 that we've had to date, 83 of them have been American soldiers. One was an Australian, and 4 Canadians. We don't care where they're from. That's not important to us. It's just a function of who applies and the severity of their wound, be it mental or physical, and we try to determine that when we review their application. So we have had very few Canadians apply, in contrast. But you'll notice that when you do apply, if you're a combat wounded vet, it says, are you a Purple Heart or Sacrifice Medal recipient? Sacrifice Medal would be similar award for Canadian soldiers. All right, now I'm going to take my little 2-inch square. Jake, that thing's all beat up. You have any idea why? Well, stop doing that. It's got a burr on it. So I set that on there, and I want to be able to move that side to side and have it sit flat. If there's a burr, if there's a bump in the middle, then the joint's not going to close properly. So that's why I check this. Now, I also got to put my headgear on. Oh, I can't. I got to live without it. Get my hat. Oftentimes what you do is you have a little bit of material stuck right down there in the corner. So if I have to fix it, I'm going to come in here about 32nd to a 16th of an inch and just cut straight down, or not straight down, on an angle, just to get rid of any bump. This does not contribute to a valuable glue surface, so it's not an issue. You're not sacrificing joint strength because you've taken some of this material out, is what I'm trying to. We have somebody else in Colombia. South America?
country.
Who is it? Oh. Well, welcome. His time zone wouldn't be quite so bad as some of the ones that we get from Germany and Netherlands. Poland, yeah. Who is that? He's up late.
Question we have that you can tackle later. They want to know the material of your sharpening station. And
Pardon?
the material of your sharpening station, how you prevent it from getting wet and warped.
Oh, I use exterior grade plywood. Okay, now it's time to put this together. So this is ready. I'm just going to check this. The first thing I have to do is come in here and I've got to cut my chamfers. So make sure my corners are nice and clean down in here. Make sure these inside corners are nice and clean. And I've got to cut my chamfers in here, which will allow the joint to go together more readily. Have you ordered a brush from Jeff yet? Jeff, would you kindly invoice me for? So Jeff makes these hand makes these shaving brushes. Really cool. Check out his site, which is doesn't have a site. Jeff O'Connor. You can find him. Huh? Does he? Under Jeff O'Connor. Just invoice me, please, so we can get one from you. And don't forget, if you're anywhere near Clarksville, Tennessee, it's Jake and I and Super Dave are going to be there at the Planer's Edge.
No.
What?
The Hardwood Grove.
The Hardwood Grove? What's the Planer's Edge?
That's his username.
Oh. Come see Danny. Danny is a Chinook pilot and came as one of our combat wounded vets, and we're going to go down there and help him kick off his business. So we'll be down there doing demonstrations.
He's here.
When? Danny's on there?
Yeah, Danny's here.
And he's going to teach Super Dave to breakdance. Wasn't that the deal?
That was part of the agreement.
That's worth it right there.
Yeah, that would be worth it. If only he could teach him to rap at the same time. Now, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Danny was I think you could call him a professional rapper and breakdancer turned helicopter pilot. Go figure. About to be woodworker. And yes, I'm using a chisel. I keep one chisel for doing stuff like that. And if I need to, I can sharpen it up again. All right, so I want my steel hammer. Ken? I think it's actually right there. I think I saw one right there, maybe even on the bandsaw. I need my Type 1-3. I want a clamp. Is this little one? I thought I saw it right around there. I will rubber mallet, just in case. I got a block of wood that I can pound it together with. And I've got a square. All right. Now, when we do this, thanks, Ken, we only glue the long grain surfaces. In case you're not sure what that means, this is end grain, this is long grain, this is long grain. End grain, end grain. When we do this piece, this is end grain, long grain, end grain in there, and obviously in there and in there. Now, even though this is long grain and it's touching the end grain, anything that touches end grain doesn't amount to anything in terms of glue strength, so we don't bother with that.
Danny said his girls, Mila and Ellie, are watching with him and they want you to say their names.
Mila and Ellie?
Yep.
Mila and Ellie, your dad is an awesome dad. And I hear your mom's an awesome cook, and we're going to find out. So we will see you guys inside of a month. Okay. The reason I use a palette knife instead of a brush is simply because you can apply the glue very neatly with a palette knife, whereas a brush tends to get it everywhere. And then the problem is getting rid of the glue that got on the wrong surface before you try to put a finish on there. And if you don't find it, your finish will. So this is my preference.
It's especially good for dovetails
Now,
because it can fit down into.
yes, exactly. In little skinny dovetails. Now this is end grain. I just got finished giving you a long lecture on it, and yet I hadn't put it on there anyway, just because I want to.
Well, it doesn't amount to any strain,
No.
but it can still.
Now, when you want to do this, you want to get this started by hand before you start to pound it. That way, if you're not started correctly, you may end up bruising some of those fibers. So get it started by hand. And before that glue starts splashing all over the place, I'll get that off. Now, Jake mentioned the mallet. Nice thing about the rubber mallet is because it's soft enough, when you're pounding, the end grain of the pins will go up into the mallet, and that will apply pressure on the tails. All right, now, let's check this for square. It actually looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pressure on these outside half pins. I'm going to take my little block of pine. Actually, I wanted to do this a different way. Put it down here like this so it doesn't interfere. And now with a clamp on there, if I need to gain something, meaning if it's not quite tight, if one of these that doesn't need a little bit of convincing, the pressure of the clamp will make it so that when you pound, it doesn't bounce, come back up. It'll actually stay put, so you keep your gains. And you want to have your block right up tight to the side of the pin. As that glue starts to adhere, if you sit it like this and pound, you may end up driving the tail down, but the material that has already started to glue to the side of the pin will end up popping up, and you end up with a broken fiber. So capture it by having your block right up tight.
Do you want me to read some donations? We got a lot.
Yeah, let's hear them.
All right. We have Charles Carafella,
Is it?
Darren Coons, Paul Odom, Stephen Bergman, William Whitson, Jonathan Neal, David Ducharme.
David?
Yep.
Awesome guy.
Brian Yablonsky, Jason Cosman, Rex.
Jason Cosman.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's in
Relatively.
St. John. He's one of my buddies.
Oh, is he? Are we related?
I don't think so.
Well, how do you know?
Well,
Is he good looking?
Sure.
Is he good looking? Jason, call me. Find out. Always good to find another relative. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. Keep going. Sorry, Frick. Interrupted you.
Kenneth Coleman with a very large donation. Thank you, Kenneth. Shannon Thetford, Andy Carson, Charlie Ray.
Ah,
Our
Charlie.
usual.
Charlie.
William Whitson, Michael Bailey, George Barber, Michelle Benson, Peter.
George? Did I hear George?
George Barber, yeah. Michelle
Michelle.
Benson,
Oh, Michelle.
wife of Super Dave. Peter Valkanis.
She's just paying us for the service we render.
Your mic's still not on, Jake.
Michelle.
Peter Valkanis, Dana Matern, Abraham Pinsky from Israel, Daniel Gang, Timothy Frednick, Mike Tokarchuk, Donald Erickson, Larry Christensen, Austin Burleson, Tyler Vess, James Golob, Tyson Hester, Barry Frankel, Todd Robertson, Robert Phillips, Greg Wortham, Ronald Phillips, Edward Wilcox, Alan Colts, David Anderson, Bob Cunningham, Richard A. Holden. There's a lot. Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Peter.
stop, take a break.
All right.
Take a breath. Pick it up there. So, Charlie is a man among men. Charlie is a Vietnam vet, and I could sit here and talk all night about how good of a guy he is. Charlie is salt of the earth. Charlie. And I'm not going to tell you any more. Just you need to know if you ever have. Everybody around here that knows him is shaking their head behind the camera, up and down, not sideways. No, we got to cut the boards. So we're making the boards out of. Did I tell them I don't have my table saw is restricted? Did I mention that? Yeah. So we don't have a breaker. So we tripped that cartridge, and then my brother-in-law has the same saw, so I went down and stole his, actually with his permission, put that in. Ken and I were ripping brass. There is an override that you can turn on so that you can cut non-ferrous metals. And we were halfway through the second piece of brass, and it fired off again. So Sawstop is replacing both of those at no cost to us, which, by the way, if you cut yourself on your saw, Sawstop will give you a new cartridge for free, and they're worth $75 or $85. Anyway, so all we have until Monday when the new cartridges get here are a demo cartridge I had, and that'll only allow the saw, you said 60 seconds? The saw will run for 60 seconds, and then it'll shut off. So we got to figure this out. That'll hurry us up. Okay. Did we do everything the same as that one? So can I take the measurements right off of that maple one? Do you know? I'm asking you, Jake. That's 12 by 5 1/4.
Rick Feldman said, "Hey Rob, I love the saws you sent."
Ah, that's 11. So we could actually make these a little bigger. That's good, Rick. That walnut was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We had a great testimonial this week that came in on the dovetail saw. I wish I had it right in front of me. I'd read it to you. Okay, so I've got the opportunity to make this a little bit bigger than normal. Michaela, do you make bread ever?
Yes.
So if I don't know, is that too small for a cutting board for slicing bread, cutting bread?
No.
You don't think so, Megan? No.
It's a little small, but it's probably the good size.
So would if you want it, would it be one wider or longer or both?
I would say wider.
Wider? Well, we can do that. But no, it doesn't need to be any longer.
No, I don't think so.
See, Michaela grew up working in my father's bake shop that he had for years. And gee, I'm going to use my notepad now. So that's why I asked her. So let's make the large one. Should we go 13? I'm going to go 13. And if that's 6, what do we go? 6.5 or 7?
What can you go comfortably in this
Well, I got lots of that.
in this stuff?
Well, all we have to have is more than half of it, so it doesn't tip out, right? And we're going to be able. That's going to allow 4.5. So I think we can go. Let's go 7. We can always cut it down if we go by 7. And then the medium one. I wish there was a formula on this. That's a good size for banana bread. That was the idea behind it. That would be a banana bread one. But if we make that one much bigger, you see how it's stepped?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to add, that's 10, and this one is 12. 8. So we're 2 inch. So that means we would go 9. No, right? 11 and 9. Now on this one we are 6, 5, 4. So assuming that's going to work, 6 and 5. Okay. Now we've got to make sure that we're dealing with an end that doesn't have any end checks. Now this one is already cut, so it should be clean. But I see some, I don't see them on this side, but I see them on the end. So I'm going to go, move your phone, Rex, please. I'm going to come over and cut this. Shoot. You see those? Better go down the other end. Smell it? So when you get an offcut like that, what we're trying to do is eliminate end checks, but I can see it right there. So you take a little piece like that, and if it easily breaks, you know you're still dealing with end checks. I don't want to waste this. Well, what I'm thinking is if that's in the middle, if those end checks are in the middle, I can grab my
Your two smaller ones?
out of there, yeah, which are 5 and 6. I can get a 5. I gotta draw this out. Let me grab a pen. So we can only get the 5 out of here. So if we come in 9 inches, I don't want to process a 9-inch long board. I have to run this through the jointer. So to 9, we'll go 11. We're going to be 20. I'll go 20 and a quarter. And hopefully we can get the small one and the medium one out of there. And then we need 13. I'll go 13 and a half. So let me just double check this. So we got 9 and 1/8 of an inch. And then 11 and 1/8 of an inch. And then 13. Okay, so I'm going to cut right there. Should be all right. I don't see anything there. Did we even check to see how this was going to fit in there? It's a little heavy. Good. Okay. Hi. Ahmed? What? Right in the middle of my finger. Now, let's figure this out. Ahmed is my good friend from Southern California. Does beautiful work. In fact, Ahmed made one of these gorgeous mallets for everyone in the class he was in.
So Tony's here as well.
Tony from Australia?
Yeah, he wants you to give a shout out to all the Aussies in attendance this evening so that they will donate. He also wanted to let you know that Ash had to evacuate from his house due to the bushfires.
Oh,
there.
you know, I read the other day that the fire was close.
But his family and everybody is safe.
Wow. Ash is the combat wounded Aussie that came to our class. We'll be in touch. And Tony is instrumental in helping us get Purple Heart Project off the ground. He was there in that first class, and he's the one that rallied the troops, so we were able to send Jesse a workbench. I love to give credit to where credit is due, and Tony's been a big supporter and help. So hello to all the Aussies. And like Tony said, dig deep. Dig deep. It'll be rewarding. All right, let me get back on track here. Take which end is which? Where was the check we were trying to avoid? Huh? Oh, I did.
Well, there were witness.
This is my 13 here. Okay, so this one is going to be 7. I can process this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that 13 off right now. and then take this down. So this is going to be 13 by 7. I don't want to do the whole thing at once because I'm afraid I'm going to run out of thickness by the time I get it flat. So I'm going 13 and an eighth. I'm going to leave that there and just see how this ends up working. What do we say? 13 by 7. So I'm under a 1 minute time crunch. By the way, love that blade. That is a Freud rip blade. How many teeth? 24 tooth. And it's the thin kerf. So if you want to, this is a free testimonial. Pick one of those up. They're fantastic. I can't believe how nice and clean they cut. Where's the one that I ruined? Here? Where? By Michaela? I want to show you. This is the one that the saw tripped on. Where? The rod. Oh, down there. So I thought I got away scot-free, that it didn't do any damage, but look what happened. I put the saw on and it was cutting weird. So there's the tooth right there that gets slammed. So if you look at the angle behind the tooth here, behind the tooth there, and then you look at this one, and that tooth is sticking up. But if you look real close, it started to break the seal that holds the carbide onto the metal plate. Now I don't know whether I can get that fixed or not, but I'll take it out to Danny that does my stuff and see. But that's and I haven't used this blade before. We bought 2 of them, but it cuts beautifully, cross cut or rip. And with that few of teeth, it cuts very fast. Love it. Great. Now let's see how flat this is.
My mother's here. Say hello.
Your mother, Bonnie. Bonnie is Frick's mother. She's also...
Where I get my cooking skills.
Yeah? That's actually pretty flat, Jake. Amazing. She also works at the local UPS store, so she always helps us get our stuff out on time. Why is your mother watching us tonight? Let her see her son.
Hi, Mom.
Frick played goal tonight. He was our goalie. First time he's ever done it.
First time ever.
And actually, I got Kim, my wife, to go down and take some video of him because he did an amazing job.
Which will never be seen.
Just
Hopefully.
in case Costco doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So I don't need to send this through the thickness. I don't need to run this over the jointer. What? There's no movement there. Oh yeah, I suppose there's a tiny little bit there. Let me just see how much have we got? Oh, I got enough. All right, I'll run that through. Well, I'm going to run it through the thickness plane to keep the sides parallel, faces parallel. So if I got a board spinning like that, that means it's sitting like this on the bottom side. So I would much rather keep that side down because you've got 2 points and it's going to be more stable. If you're sitting like this when it's rocking and you try to run it over your jointer, your weight is being distributed on the back and then on the front, and it just is not going to come out as nearly as accurate as it will setting it like this. Fairly light cut. Now, I'll get close with the power tools, and then we're going to put a hand plane finish on that. And I should be doing all 3 of them right now because we've got to get them all done tonight anyway. How's my time? Is that clock right? We're on 45 minutes?
Exactly.
Because we got a lot of draws to do. All right, so now 11 and I can do the 11. Actually, I better do these 2 I better do these two at the same time. That would leave me a board too short to run through the thickness planer. And this is going to be 6 inches. I'm trying to find that check, Jake. I know it was on this end. I just don't know where. I think that's it right there, isn't it? Can you see? Right around here?
I can't see a check.
Make sure your table's nice and clean. Yeah, but it's pivoting in the middle, pivoting on ends, not pivoting in the middle. Is the air going to stay on? All right, now we'll run these through. Thanks, Ken. I just want to check and see how close we are. I should be able, we should be able to run these through the thickness planer until they just fit in there. And then we'll hand plane them. We don't want them to be tight in there anyway, and I think that'll provide just enough slop to make them easy to get in and out. How come your mother didn't come watch you tonight, Frick?
What's that?
I expected your mother to come tonight.
Well, I invited them, but they didn't show.
She didn't see Bentley score. Okay. No more than that. Let's cut this one down. So 11. Going to be in trouble if that check is still in there. Should have marked it better. I'm going 11 and 7, right? $11 and 9. 11 and 9 is 20. I've got a little bit extra, so I can't remember where that check was. So I'm going to take a little bit off of here. Okay, so that feels like a solid end. So we'll make this the medium-sized board. And this one gets cut down to 5. Paul, Paul's a short timer. Paul is Lieutenant Commander in the Canadian Navy. And he's on his way to Australia for a year or 6 months? A year. Paul called me up out of the blue and said, Rob, I really like what you're doing with the vets, and I'd like to help if I can. So next thing you know, I said, yeah, absolutely. He came down. He was fantastic help. In fact, he's been here twice. Yeah, she was. Didn't we already talk about her? Who did you say was on before?
I might have mentioned she made a dope.
Oh, oh. I was thinking it was Michelle. Yeah. Hi, Michelle. She was the rose among thorns.
I'm going to give a quick shout out to Nick's Instagram page.
Oh, yeah.
Since he made a donation.
Right. That's right. That's the marriage deal.
Well, we already passed that, actually. The deal was he would propose if we got him 400 followers, and he's at
So I think you owe us one, Nick.
But everyone should follow him at NB Wood Finery. It's on Instagram for those of you who have Instagram, and I'll paste the link.
That's Nick and Erica. I would think that would be quite fine. Nick. Sometimes men have to be hit over the head with a, what do you call that thing? All right, so what I'm doing is just sighting it in. This is my gun. Sighting in my plane to make sure the blade is parallel to the sole. And every once in a while, if you got a shooting board, you want to take the edge of your square and just run it along like that, because the wax and dirt build up in there, and that'll keep it from running true. So let's start with the big one.
You need to be careful with this stuff, though.
What?
The end grain doesn't plane very well.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to do among all four edges. Then we'll go in and we'll plane the face, and then we'll cut our chamfers. Try flipping that around. Now, when you're using a shooting board like this really isn't its function, or this is not what it's designed to do. Your shooting board is designed to have more surface area along your fence than you do over here. In that circumstance, you can expect to square up your wood. When you have more surface area being planed than you have referencing on your fence, well, there's just not enough there to guarantee that. So all I'm doing in this circumstance is I'm using the shooting board as a means of stopping this board from going forward while I plane it, but I am keeping it square in this direction. So I'm pushing the board against the bottom of the plane, and that will keep it straight. This will keep it square. That one's clean. Now typically if you plane this way for this side, spin it like this in order to get it, in order to be planing the right direction on the opposite side. And nothing better than the hand test. It should feel wonderful to the touch. Where'd they go?
Bathroom break, maybe?
Where? Are they?
That was against
So, Super Dave and Michelle are both on?
Yep.
Yeah, she said that Super Dave hasn't even bought her a shirt that he said that she had to buy her own.
He didn't buy
Cheap.
He didn't buy it because Jake said they were back orders.
They're still recovering from the big chicken loss. If that shack had been built properly, that weasel would never have gotten in. Obviously, he didn't dovetail the corners. Dave, I am surprised. Oh, yeah. Did they hear that? You don't have your mic on.
No, his mic's not working.
Would they have heard what he said? Jake said?
Say it again.
Well, it's not funny now. I said, obviously, he didn't dovetail the corners on the chicken shack he built. And then Jake said, well, maybe he did.
Yeah.
So there has to be a response coming. We just had Super Dave up here. So Super Dave is a combat wounded vet that came to our, what class? Long time ago. Long time ago. And thanks to his wife, we ended up getting him back. And now he's part of our team. In fact, he's going to Nashville with us. That's our present to his wife for Christmas. What I'm doing here is trying to make sure I don't blow that out. Anyway, so Dave... No, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Dave was here making boxes for a week. And he did an incredibly good job.
Daniel Gang asks, how do you like the Bosch miter saw?
I like it because I got to put an edge on this plane. One of those sharp. I used to teach in Calgary at Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. I would rent their facility in the summer and teach my classes there. They had workbenches. And I just happened to show up one day as they were... No, actually, that's a different story. Sorry. Bosch and Makita and Ryobi and all those companies donate. They each outfit a complete shop, and they come in at the end of the year. They auction off all the tools to the students, and then they replace it all with new tools. And there was stuff that didn't get bought, so we were able to. And I got that. Oh my! Got a sweetheart of a deal on that. Bought a bunch of Bosch equipment. So that's the reason I bought it. Having bought it, yes, I like it. It sure beats the. I've had a DeWalt, and I had a one made called Benchmark, which is a home hardware brand. And the DeWalt, the Bosch is 10 times better. Really like their routers. I bought 4 of those little Colts at the same time, and I bought their skill saw, and their skill saws. Fantastic. It's got some real innovative features. All right, so I'm using, Jake prefers to use the Shapton over the Trend. He has expensive taste. And I'm using a 500 grit stone. I hate throwing this out to people because I prefer to use what I tell them to use, but Jake uses a 500 grit until he gets his own bench. Anyway, so I'm starting on the 500 grit, and I'll finish over here in the 16,000. Find my primary bevel, come up 3 or 4 degrees above that. Light to moderate pressure, 4 fingers on the cutting edge to distribute the downward pressure as uniformly and evenly as possible. Move forward and back so that you're not working one area excessively. Work that until you can get a burr on the back side of the blade, at which time you come over to the 16,000. Locate your primary bevel. Raise up a little bit higher than I did on the previous stone, so only the very leading edge is touching. I've got my blade on an angle so that I'm staying on the stone most of the time. About 10 seconds of work on this one. And at the end of 10 seconds, I'm going to put downward pressure in one corner for 3 seconds, and then I'm going to switch to the opposite corner. Now, when I say that, what I'm doing is I'm simply pushing a little harder here and then a little harder here. Now, it's important that we do this because we're going to plane the face of those wide pieces, and we want it to turn out so it's perfect.
Wait, stop.
What? What's the matter?
No, flip the ruler.
Why?
No, the other way.
What are you talking about? Oh. Well, why am I doing that? Huh? I know you got a little hook on it, but what good is the hook if it's only in one direction?
You got a question from Neil. I've heard you can use glass cleaner on your stones when sharpening. He said
You know what, Neil? I've heard that too, but I've tried it and they've rusted. Now, if you're talking about preventing rust on a Trend diamond plate, somebody said use Windex. Well, there must be water in there because it did rust. So when I'm using the Trend, I use Hone Right, which is a water additive that inhibits, it doesn't prevent, it inhibits water from rusting metal. Now, you want to see how close I am? Frequently asked question. Snug this up, and you want it tight because the chip breaker gets acted upon by the yoke, which moves the blade forward and back for a heavy cut or a light cut, and it has to bring the blade along with it. So you have to make sure that those two are clamped tight enough together that that will work. And you won't just slide one and leave the other one behind. Wipe one direction and get that blade so that it's parallel to the sole. And I sharpened that because I wasn't pulling off a shaving off the end of this like I wanted. Now when I see that, that tells me that the blade is not parallel to the sole, that it's cutting like this. So I'm going to lift up on the lateral adjustment lever, which should skew the blade like this. Now, do we have, I have a piece of wax here, Jake? Oh yeah, we have our little, here it is.
Brian McQueen says he's here from Alabama.
Brian.
McQueen?
Hey, Brian. Did anybody see Kevin? Kevin Burris? Hey, Kevin, brother, how are you doing? Merry Christmas.
Made a donation too, I believe.
Huh?
Also made a donation, I believe.
Did he?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. And wife. And Bell.
Got a question from
Bell is Kevin's service dog.
Got a question from Tony. First of
Go
all,
Tony should be answering the questions.
your shout out worked because there's been quite a few Australian donations. So
Are they
thank
coming
you.
in Australian dollars?
Thank you to the Aussies. But his question is, have you ever designed and made a hot dog handle to go onto your 5.5 to work as a
No,
shooting
but
board plane?
it hasn't left me. It has not left me. I'm going to solve that problem. Now, I'll share with you what we're talking about. So Alan Peters is my mentor, and I was over. We filmed the. You should buy this. You should buy it because it's just a nice piece of woodworking history. We shot a video. Megan, can somebody grab that video? Ken, would you mind grabbing that video? We shot a video called The Alan Peters Approach. I went over to England, hired a company called Just Shoot Me. A pretty good name for a video company, right? And we went and we shot it in his shop. And this is right at the point where he was suffering from dementia. And one day he was Alan, and the next day he didn't know who he was. So it was tough. But he had he did everything with a number 7. This is the number 7. And he had this handle, this little wooden handle that clipped right on there. It was made out of wood. It didn't mechanically fasten on. It just, the way it, I can't remember. I took pictures of it and I lost them since. There's the video, the Alan Peters Approach. Such a great guy and such an incredible craftsman. Oh my goodness. You could take his furniture and you could take it apart and you wouldn't find an errant tool mark anywhere. It was incredible. And unfortunately, in those advanced stages of dementia, he still needed to work because craftsman's reward is in his work. It's not in his bank account. Anyway, he had that little handle, and it would clip right on there, so when you were shooting with it, it was so comfortable to use. And I should contact his wife and see if that's still around. Alan died several years ago. Okay. Ah! Stinking thing. Blew out. I'm doing this again just because I put that new edge. Notice that my left hand follows right across from the blade. That's beautiful. Where's Michaela? She gone? She had enough?
Past her bedtime.
Erica. Well, you should know anyway, because I taught him. Feel how smooth that is. Isn't that nice? Smooth. Almost as smooth as her hand the first time you held it.
That was cheesy.
Cheesy?
That was cheesy.
All right. Should we finish that one off, or should we do these? Better get these ones done first.
Rick, now
I'll
you're
try to
done.
go a little faster.
There's too many. Too far behind.
Read them.
Just give me a second.
Huh?
Just give me a second. I'm just making sure I'm at the right place.
You got 400 viewers online right now, too.
Do we?
It's a good night.
Is that, has it been growing?
Yep.
The downside, oh, look at that. Hopefully I got lots to spare. The downside, I was just about to say it, of torrefied lumber is it weakens it. So as long as you're not using it in an application where you can't afford to sacrifice, or you're going to be in small pieces. Thank you, Jake. Shoot. Still got to get rid of those saw marks.
It's so skewed though.
Mm-hmm. One more pass. Now I'm going to shoot this way because this is the side I've got to remove.
Kevin asked, Rob, how do you like the plain magic wax sticks?
TBA. Love the concept. We're tweaking the formula. They haven't arrived yet, but it'll be an item we'll have on our website shortly. Kevin is the one that introduced us to this, which I think is just a great way to have your wax. Only problem is that formula is a little too soft. I want something a little harder, so we're working on that. Now I'm going to go over and buzz that off on the table saw because there's more there than I want to have to plane. I'm going to try 4 and 15/16. Okay, we're all right. Stuff does come off beautifully. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the ends this time first. Keep me on the time. More, Frick?
Let me just find where I left off here. Can't remember the last name.
In case you don't know what I'm
yes.
doing, when I reach over here, I'm advancing the blade. What's that?
All right, I found where I left off. So Peter Pouncey, Stephen Pattison,
Stephen, thank you.
Explosive Ops Gear, must be a company. Eric Rice, Guy Stedman, Michael DeSlip, Jason Brown, Kyle Gunto, Dennis Highstand.
Thank you to everyone. When I hear a name that I know, I had dinner with Stephen in Knoxville just a month or so ago.
Howard Bigham, Sue Brownlow, Daniel Baker.
Who was that?
Howard and
Oh, Howard? And Stuart?
Sue. Sue Brownlow.
Oh, Sue. Sue, your saw, did it go?
No.
So your saw's done, boxed up. Sue won the draw last time
Last
for
week.
the
Yeah, last time.
nice figured maple handle. I've just been a little bit slow in getting it finished, but I did it today. And it's all boxed up in one of Ken's boxes.
Daniel Baker, Simon Coldrick, Jeffrey Hood, Luke Walker, Claude Como.
That's Claude Como
Yeah.
from New Brunswick.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Great.
Originally,
Neil H. I can't say his last name, so I'll just say Neil H. Thank you. Scott Phillips, Kenneth Dove, and Christian McCone. And I will stop there for now. I got another page, but
Michael Curry asked Rob, have you tried planing torrefied wood with a lower angle blade to reduce blowout?
Well, so the problem is this. Your wood fibers are a bunch of drinking straws, in this case standing like this. They have tremendous strength across their width, but the natural glue that holds all these wood fibers together is called lignin, and it really isn't that strong. It's the reason why I can quite readily, I could hit that hard enough to split that. There's no way I'd ever break it this way. So as the plane is coming across the end fibers, the ends of those straws, when it gets over here, the pressure of the blade cutting the fiber is greater than the ability of that lignin to hold those fibers attached to the ones next to it. And what happens is they separate, they bend out, and they break. So by cutting a chamfer, and make sure you do this right, because I've had students unknowingly do it wrong, but your chamfer wants to go not like this, but like this. And what you do, the idea is to plane, and hopefully stop just as you get to the end. If you blow past, well, then the fibers are going to break out.
Okay, why is it so bad on Torres?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is about the torrefication that weakens the wood. All I know is that it does. Now, to what point? Well, it's not going to substantially weaken the wood this way or this way, but when you get into small pieces, then you're going to notice a slight decrease in strength. And it's not tremendous, but it is. I wouldn't make ladder rungs out of torrefied maple, put it that way. Yeah, I hear it. But we've made, I don't have one here. I've got a torrefied, do I have a torrefied saw handle out there in my other cabinet? So it's certainly strong enough. I mean, when you're using a saw and you're pushing on that handle, there's a fair bit of pressure on that section. That's why we always have the grain running this way through there. And the torrefied holds up fine, so maybe a 5% decrease.
couple donations. Michael Curry, Nick Brown, familiar name. Kyle,
Didn't he already do that?
he did that last time too. Kyle Perrell, Bill Haskins, Luke Hogan, David Vandereet,
Could be part of the dowry.
Tony Martin, Sean McLeod, Tim Kenyon,
Who?
Matt Kablaka.
Sean McLeod, really?
Very generous.
Is Sean on?
Yeah, very generous donation from Sean. And
Hey, Sean, thank you. You coming? Sean's coming here in a couple days.
And Tim Kenyon, very generous donation as well. Matt Kablaka.
Now, I just got to say something about Sean. Sean's dad, his name is Bruce, Moose to the people who play against him. And not only is he just a really good friend, but he's an amazing example of what you can do when you're 71. He plays hockey no less than 10 times a week. I play every noon hour with him. And the other times he's playing with far younger individuals. He plays with Jake and I, and you can't spot him out there. And I see people that are crippled up because of inactivity at 70, and then I see Moose, and I just think, wow, everybody needs to take a lesson from this. The Moose. Anyway, Sean, looking forward to your visit. And I'll promise that Jake will keep his hands out of your wallet. Well, actually, I can't promise that. All right, time to do the face.
Ray Jordan also donated.
Oh, Ray. So Ray was in that same class that Pete, the combat wounded Vietnam vet, we had Ray. And Ray is from Louisiana. And every time I think of Ray, I think of him driving the, what was it called that he drove? Ken, what was the name of that funky little cart that they used in Vietnam? Tell me what it is, guys. Obviously, Luther's not on. Super Dave will know the name of it. All right, we're going to do the face. I'm going to get this out of my way. What happened to Rex?
I don't know, but none of us got cider.
No?
I'm pretty sure it's still boiling out there.
Over there.
Somebody might want to take a look at it. Kenan, are we... Super Dave and I turned it into apple syrup one night. Okay, so I've retracted the blade. And I'm getting a shaving just on one side, so I'm going to adjust the blade slightly. A little bit more. The mule, right. Who did it? Who said?
Sacramento Tailwheel Aviation LLC. That's actually someone in the chat, so they're under a business account, but
That's who told us what it was called?
Yeah.
The mule. So Ray told the story of, I guess he was in a minefield and didn't know it. He came down the hill of the minefield and here are all the mine detectors heading up the hill trying to find the mines. And here he is driving down through it. I think I got that story right, Ray. This stuff planes beautifully, by the way.
And the smell.
Yeah, and the finish that you get off of it is just to live for.
oh, Luther is here.
Luthi,
He's using the same account as me again, so for everyone in the chat, it could be coming from Frick or Luther, just so you know. What are you using to lubricate the sole? It's wax, right?
yeah. It's a formula that we're working on, and it'll be released soon. Just haven't got it the right hardness yet. Don't want it too soft. Now I'm feeling that to make sure there's no...
Wait, what's that?
It's something in the wood. I thought it was a Mark II, but it isn't. So what I'm doing is getting rid of the mill marks. And the thickness planer and the joint are both cut with a rotary head. So you get these small scallop marks that you don't want to leave on the surface of your cutting board.
Check out this.
Hmm? Oh, yeah. Yeah. What? What's the matter?
Rex left the stove on and left, so the apple cider's extra hot.
Where'd Rex go? Rex is my son who is home for Christmas. He lives in Halifax. Now I need a little... You know what else I need, Jake? I need to come up with a little set of... You know... I'm trying to think of spacers. Is Sean in town?
I didn't think he was.
No, I thought he was coming either day of or right after Christmas. This is, as soft as this is, it doesn't stay on as long. That might be my imagination, but. And this one I would worry about leaving a residue, just because it is so soft. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm continuing to plane because I've got a little snipe right out there at the end. Maybe one more pass will take care of it. They can see it? No, still there. First
What?
pass.
Why do you clear the shaving after each pass?
Well, if you don't, that's actually a good question.
It's from Keith. Or no, it's from Ken Coleman.
Ken, I prefer to bring the plane back instead of lifting it up. And if you don't clear the shaving, when you pull it back, oftentimes the shaving gets stuck underneath the bottom of the plane, and then you got to stop and scrape it off. And the reason I prefer not having to lift the plane up each time and then set it back down is twofold. Number one, it's heavy. And number two, every time you clunk that, you risk changing the setting of the blade. So I find it much easier to just get rid of the shaving at the end and stay in contact with the board. For some reason, this stuff is really subject to static. It's almost like the torrefying tempers the wood or does something, but it makes it plane beautifully. And maybe even easier than regular maple. One spot left. Okay. Last one. Make sure there's nothing underneath. I want that to sit flat. What's up, Megan? Hi.
Should I do some donations?
Yeah.
Forget where I left off. Susan Patton, Kent. Who?
Michael Curry.
Michael Curry.
Thank
Oh,
you, Michael.
no, I got Nick, and I got Sean, and I got Tim, Matt Klablaka, Richard Gilson, Susan Patton, Kenton O'Donnell, Brandon Lawrence, Wayne Lobenstein, Raymond Dorr, Michelle Abyss, Ahmed again, Jim Kilborn, Adam Rock, Sam Dasher, Joseph Godfrey, Jerry Bailey, Phil Lawton, Brandon
Phil.
Phillips.
Yes. Thank you,
Right.
Phil.
Brandon Phillips, George Adams, Paul Morrison, Rick Feldman, Paul Pearson, Michelle Paganelli, former.
Didn't you already read her?
Oh, she must have donated again then.
Oh. Thank you,
You're
Michelle.
getting all your Michelles mixed up.
I know.
Neil Weatherhead. Earl-
Neil. Neil's
Hughes.
combat wounded vet. I always tell the story, so I'll tell it again. So Neil took a piece of shrapnel and blinded one eye. Anyway, so we did the class, and I had the guys, the vets were really fast at cutting dovetails. So I said, look, if you guys want, you can do something else with a dovetail. Because I needed to have these, I wanted to put tool trays on the end of the benches. Have we got one in here? Yeah, we do. So here's what it is, if you can kind of see. Had this tool tray and we attached it to the bench, so all the vets made one. And then I said, write a little message on the back before I spray it for future vets that are here. This was Tom Grimstad wrote, gratitude, joy, forgiveness, and signed his name and whatever. So Neil did one up, and it was a through dovetail. So came Friday, I was spraying it, and I was just about to spray his, and I look at it, and it says, best half-blind dovetail in the West. I'm thinking, oh, shoot. I don't want to go tell him. I said, Neil, look, that's not a half blind. I figured, oh, I better. So I went over, I said, Neil, this isn't a half blind. He says, Rob, half blind. Okay.
Earl Hughes, Michael Hollenbeck, John Waite, Bill Salminen, Tane Curtis, Greg Southard, Rick Merrill, Jeff O'Connor, and Michael Frizzell. And
Michael.
I will
Michael.
refresh here.
And Neil, even with 2 good eyes, it was a good half blind.
Julie Kressler, Brian McQueen, Peter Hughes, Michael Cedar, Pedro Cruz, Chris Sakaki, Sathara and Jen Fernando, Keith Weirs, and Mark Ray.
Thank you, folks. Your generosity is much appreciated. Okay. Now we got to get to work. Okay, this, we can go ahead and plane this up. Do I want to plane it first or do I want to cut it?
Plane it and then cut it.
Yeah? Hopefully this is the right direction. You got the throat closed down, but it could be tighter. So if you're dealing with bird's eye, you can usually get a perfect finish on it, but it does pay to take a light pass. Now, I may be going the wrong way. Super still on there?
I think so.
Huh?
I think so.
Is he answering any questions?
No, Luther's doing that now.
Make sure that's sitting flat. I've got saw marks, or not saw marks, but mill marks right in here that I'm trying to get rid of. So obviously I've got a little bit of a hollow. You know what, Jake? Time for a new edge. What have we got over there? This one almost needs to be reground. Now this is this super hard blade that Ivar made for me. What do we got for numbers, Nick?
4th, 16.
Do we need to review the prizes for tonight?
I'd show them real quick, Jake, while he's doing that, because we've seen sharpening a billion times.
Jake, have you got your microphone on so they can hear you?
No. How do you? Nick can say that one because he's got a mic and I can't pronounce it.
Charcuterie board?
Chicoutimi?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
Yeah.
Chicoutimi is a city. Sorry.
So we have 5
11 different woods?
5 gifts.
We have a wood hinge box, perfect for business cards.
Made out of?
Comes with a free business card. Show the hinge, Megan, on the back.
It's a 5-pinner. Ooh, that's a bonus. I usually do 3 pins in the business card boxes.
We have a Purple Heart marking gauge. And the grand prize of a resin impregnated
Purple
resin
impregnated
dovetail saw. But they can change the saw, right? Or no, it's too late.
No, that's a dovetail saw.
All right.
I thought it shows better as it's in its finished state. Guaranteed to cut dovetails like a maestro.
Mark Martinez, how often do you reflatten a 16,000 stone?
Well, I usually do it before every sharpening, but when I'm at home, I often will use one half of it one time, the other half the other time, and then I only have to do it every couple. But not a bad habit to be in. Plus, it helps with repeat customers. Duh. Wear it out quicker.
Don't
Yeah.
forget to like and subscribe. We're 200 subscribers away
Oh, yeah.
from our first plaque, which is what I'm most excited about. I've never seen one in real life.
Now, this is not. I got to adjust this slightly because it's a little bit askew, and my blade is hitting there. My blade was hitting on the right corner before I was able to get it parallel to the sole. Oh, I'm going to do that again. So this is a bedrock style frog. So by loosening those two outside frog retaining screws, actually I got to pull it back a little bit. That blade is a little bit thicker than the last one. So the center screw pulls the whole apparatus back. Then when I get it where I want it, I retighten the two outside frog retaining screws. And without having to remove the blade, I'm back in business. Okay, retract that blade. Never want to start planing with the blade out an undetermined amount. Did Phil ever come on, Philip? Philip Gustafson?
Haven't seen him, no.
I'm adjusting slightly. Went a little too far. Why am I not able to get down in there, Jake? It shows actually as a bump. I'll come back to it.
Oh,
What? What?
that's a mineral spot, isn't it?
I don't know. It's not black enough. I'm just going until I get rid of the pen marks. One more series of passes. Actually, I'm going to do it here. I don't have to reach over quite so far. Yeah, but it's getting in there. Now, I think I'll do the edges after we're done this. So let's try this.
Justin Bernhoff says hello and can't wait for a saw.
Yeah?
He's also in a Seattle class you're doing?
Oh, yeah. All good things are worth waiting for. Okay, so that looks all right in terms of the size of those pieces. Now we got to cut our chamfers all the way around that, and we got to slope this. So have we got an angle that we can follow? And by that I mean, Jake, I'll use this one. What I want is, as you see the different size in the shooting board, in the cutting boards, I kind of want to follow that. So that is referencing off, the inside corners of each of those boards. I'll double check that. Okay, so what I'll do now is come in and we'll follow that. I'll do it in pencil in case we change it.
Pete Ambrose said he likes the hat, but you're too clean shaven to be the big guy.
That's our famous Pete speaking. Merry Christmas, Pete. Now, did we do the bottom one? Yeah, we did, only not nearly as much. So this one, same idea. We're going to follow the ends of these, or in this case I'll follow the how am I going to do this?
Put it on the top.
We'll follow the outside ones.
Danny said he sold his first Cosman saw the other day,
Yeah, I was talking to him.
and that he came back 2 days later because he dropped it.
He dropped it.
The customer dropped it. Yeah, bent the blade.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Now I got to talk to him about who he's selling the saws to. We're fussy. Oh, Ken. Look what I found. Santa Claus. It says to Ken. Open it up.
Merry Christmas, Ken.
What kind of wood is that? Did I hear somebody say that was my favorite? Merry Christmas. By the way, I only had, well, that's what this box says. Just a second, because there. No, it needs a couple more coats of oil.
Oh, beautiful.
I was going to give it to you later, but Jake said, "Aren't you going to give it to him tonight?" So I hurried.
Very nice. Beautiful.
Doesn't that feel great? Look at the little bit of sapwood on the horn.
I can't wait to get mine.
What's the wood on that one, Rob?
Pacific Yew. That's the first time I've ever worked with yew. Alan Peters was a big fan of it. Really liked English yew. He's what?
You'll need a new lid
You
though,
got to keep the lid.
unless you sell it to someone named Ken. If I get mine though, it's going on eBay. everybody.
Should Fricks be at a fine?
No. Frick's getting a goalie stick.
Yeah.
Okay, now, best way to cut those.
Well, you just marked it on the wrong side.
Yeah, did.
Just flip it over.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think of what the best way to cut them is going to be. I think would be the bandsaw and then just shoot it with the plane. I gotta flip this over too. Well, here, we'll just carry them over. That needs to get used, Ken. Megan, I didn't get yours finished. You have a kitchen table.
Yeah, that we bought off of Facebook Marketplace for $100
Didn't you get
from, like,
didn't you get Frick's and Erica's
Why would they get mine?
old kitchen table that they didn't use anymore?
We use it every day. The Christmas tree's on it.
Now, I'm not going to be able to cut that on the bandsaw because I don't have the height. Let's go get this one cut. No, I don't. No, I don't think so. Well, I maybe. So, who did I make a kitchen table for that they no longer use?
I
Oh,
don't know.
they took the one that I made them with the painted legs? Oh. Love this bandsaw, by the way. This is an old General Canadian. We had an extra one, so we gave it to Super Dave. You know what? I can cut that. I think I can get. I'm far enough away.
Shut it.
I got to run back over there. Any more to read out, Frank?
Donations?
You get 854, or sorry, 454.
Viewers.
Shoot, Jake.
Just here. Wait, can you move the guard?
I can take this off. Oh, no, I can't. Well, yeah, because that holds it. That just locks it. No, I'm clearing it. I don't take the time to put that back on right now, it'll end up getting swept and thrown away. Now, put this, how are we going to do this?
Left hand.
Left-hand shooting board.
There's one right there.
Huh?
There's one right there. Ken, grab that
No.
shooting board out of Dave's bench.
I can't use a left-hand shooting board. Or I'm not left-handed. Here, I can do it. Well, Dave's, that's why we call him Super Dave. I'm just straight Rob. Here, I got it. Where there's a will. Now, what I would like to have is something just to act as a bit of a, huh?
Clamp that piece of maple down. Put that block on it and clamp it down.
Like so.
Wait.
Well, I'm clear. Oh, you know what? No, it should be okay.
Wait.
A little bit right up there at the top. That one I can do on the shooting board. What's that doing here?
Oh, you were chopping.
Dry. I gotta get that off the end. This is where I want to have my shooting board held in place. Okay. Clean. How are we for time? Now, if we can get at least one of these done, so we can show it. Okay, I'm going, have we got a router table set up? I never thought about doing that. Well, I don't want to tear that apart. I'll do it by hand.
You want a chamfer bit?
Yeah, it's all set up right here. It's one of these little Colts that I bought, which if you're looking for a trim router, that's of the three different brands I've had, that is by far the best. It's another one of those Bosch. Okay, how much do we want? That's too much. I'm gonna cut those corners off too.
What do you do with all the wood shavings after a cleanup? Mike Janicki wants to know.
What cleanup? What do we do with them?
Paul says, I heard they use them to make a bed for Super Dave when he visits.
A bed.
The wood shavings. Uses the wood shavings.
We make him sleep standing up. That last one might have had too much. I'm going to go with a little less. And I put an auxiliary base on this just because in a situation like this where you only have half, actually less than half of your router base sitting on your piece, becomes a bit of a balancing issue. The other nice thing about these is they're so nice and light, you can easily one-hand them. Oh, the static on this stuff is crazy.
But the smell is amazing.
Okay, I'm afraid we're not going to get all three done, but we'll at least do this one up.
Paul wants to know if you got a specific bit company you use for bits.
Yeah, there's two different ones that I like. I really like Freud, and I like Whiteside. Whiteside are made in, I think, North Carolina, and their packaging sucks. You can't see to tell what it is, but they make a great bit. I just wish they would improve their packaging. You go into a store that has them, and it's a clear plastic container with fine black lettering on it, and you're looking through the container at the same time you're trying to read the letters. It's hard. Minor complaint, but all right. So we got a chamfer on that as well.
I bet you're taking off the corners too.
Yeah, I am. I'm just trying to think of how best to do it. And how much do we want? Now I didn't take the corners off this one, but so here's the reason why. If you look at this one, bring them over here. That was the more refined. This was the first idea. So those were left pointed. Well, with any time, they'll get all dinged up and dented. And it shows much more on a sharp corner than it would on something like this. So I blunted those. I actually like the way that looks. So we're definitely going to do it. If I had a way of doing it on the table saw where I could zip it off and then just shoot it with the plane real fast. How best? Could hold it on its edge. Yeah. Where's my, I know what to do. We can do we can do them all. We'll crank that around to 45 degrees. I have a shooting board, not a shooting board. What am I talking about? What do we call this, Jake?
A sled.
Table saw sled. Did you say that, Frick?
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness. Been paying attention?
Can I tell them quickly that we just finished the first draft of the workbench build, so we're making progress slowly, but
it
coming
could be
soon.
ready very soon. That's actually a good thing to bring up. If you're looking for the new video that Luther and I did on building the $100 bench, as Frick just mentioned, we he just finished the first edit, which is a big deal. The splitter has to come out? How come?
Over 5 hours.
And I've gone through the first hour, and there's not going to be any editing.
No.
No. Well, I assume that if you're wanting to build this, you want more, not less.
So that will be our next video available on demand for sale. Hopefully January.
Tim Farrell. Rob, what do you recommend as an affordable set of chisels for a
Eh.
fairly new woodworker?
As a what?
Affordable set of chisels.
Just give me a second. Why am I having to cut through that?
We've never come up that way.
Wood River chisels are a good chisel. IBC are the best. If you're buying for the short term, go with the Wood River. If you're buying for the long haul, go for the IBC. Spend the money, cry once, get it over with, and you'll never have to replace them. What they do with that piece of wood that I carried over here. Now, I should be able to just put a mark on there and then do each of these like this. Where's my pencil? Jake, I need to be able to see how much that is. Problem is that once I cut it off, I lose my reference. More? Huh? I think so. Yeah, a little more. And I wish now I had done this before I cut the chamfer, because I'm already tearing that in. But I've got to take some off with the plane anyway, so. If I had time to think about it, there would be a better way to make this mark. Actually, you know what? I can clamp that on. Yeah. Ken, would you grab me a small? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I was thinking, how can I do this without cutting off the board? Now, that little chunk of wood's going to get stuck in there. Hopefully it won't get fired out at me. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, did I go past my minute? Okay. Now I need to put a 45 in there to support that, or else it's going to move on me. There's no way I'm going to be able to shoot that and not have it want to move. So I need a 45-degree sport to put in there, but we're out of time. So what I want to do is just have you look. I'll finish this off and we'll send it to the lucky person. So that's going to sit in there like that. And we'll put it up on a couple little feet. I was going to lean it back, but we don't need to. Chamfers will be cut on all of that. Why is that wiggling? And that'll be somebody's Christmas present in 2021. All right. Draw. You ready? Yeah, this is your, well, while we're answering some questions, you've got a couple of minutes to get in your final Purple Heart donation to get your name in for the draw. Remember, we're drawing for the cluster of cutting boards. The
What's going first?
huh?
What's going first?
We don't know yet. The charcuterie board made by Nick from what's the Facebook? Not
NB,
the,
Instagram, NB Wood Finery.
NB Wood Finery.
Go follow his page.
Wood hinge, 5-pinner. Look great on your desk. Purple infused resin impregnated maple dovetail saw. Purple Heart marking gauge. And
Looks like Ken's
Ken's box. Ken saw. All right, any questions?
I'm not seeing any. We'll give.
What's
Let
our how many people do we have?
Let me
472.
let me read the final donations. Jocelyn Meyer, Daryl Stone, Prentice Hill, Danny Bell,
Danny boy.
Scott Utzman, Francis Nichols, Matthew Wiesner, Andrea Incalingo. Sorry if I butcher these. Sean Sullivan, David Bath, Douglas Rimmer, Michael Kratky,
Hi, Michael. Michael's in New York.
Jonathan P.,
Good
Ken
friend.
Stewart, JD Pinchin, and let me just do a refresh. Tim Bublitz, Lynn Hinman, and David Ducharme.
David Ducharme. David's always donating. He's excellent. So let me just say a Merry Christmas and offer my thanks to the people behind the camera. So right here is Frick. Frick's my son-in-law, married my oldest daughter Erica, father to my 4 grandsons, 4 of my 5 grandsons.
4 of the 5, yeah.
Lincoln, Bentley, Cooper, also known as Harry, and the little guy there,
McLaren.
McLaren. He's new. I'm getting it.
They're all cars.
So, and Frick played goal tonight for the first time. He says, I want to try playing goal. And he actually did an incredible job. I was impressed. I said, you got to go and get some film of this. It could never happen again. Anyways, Frick does all of our YouTube stuff. So
And
tell your
Facebook.
friends to register or to subscribe so we can get him that plaque.
And hit the bell so you know when we go live.
Hit the bell so when we go live. That's
and
right.
new videos.
And Frick donates his time. Frick does a couple things. Frick donates his time to do this for our Purple Heart Project. And all summer long, we do barbecues. It has what's called the Frickin' Good Barbecue. Ask any of the vets or any of the students have taken our class, they'll know. And we raise money that way also for Purple Heart. So thank you, Frick. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Over here is Ken Anthony. Ken has been a friend for a while. Ken is also the cousin to Angie. This is Angie. And if you don't know who Angie is, Angie does all of our T-shirts. Oh, when you buy a T-shirt from us, it'll be neatly packaged. She and Lynn do that. And there'll be a little A on the seal, and that A stands for Angie. Angie, thank you. Merry Christmas to you and Lynn. And we certainly appreciate what you do to help with the Purple Heart Project. And most importantly, I am now a highly organized person because of my notepad. So Ken came to work with us a little over a year ago, and if I had 2 more Ken, I could retire. Ken makes a mistake during the day, and what's he? He's back here at night on his own time working on it. Where do you find people like that? He's always got his nose in what I'm doing, and the next thing I turn around, he's doing it himself. So just fantastic and a very good craftsman. In fact, his first boxes, I was thoroughly impressed. I looked at it, and I think I said to Jake, I said, I wouldn't make them any better than this. So Merry Christmas to you, Ken. Over here we have Nick and his lovely wife, Erica, spelled also E-R-I-K-A.
Soon to
And
be.
I want to congratulate them on their soon upcoming wedding. Nick came and took our class this past year, did excellent work, and you saw his work, and very generous too. He just brought that and said, I'd like to be able to donate that to the cause. So thank you very much, Nick. We certainly appreciate it. And Erica, thank you for tolerating Nick as long as you have. And I would put a time limit on that. Merry Christmas to you. And of course, over here, underneath the Santa Claus hat, how could we get by without Megan? So if you came to our workshop and you had good food and went home 10 pounds heavier, it's because of Megan. Tirelessly cooked. Cam, what did she do every night? After all the meals were done, so she cooked for 20 people, 2 meals a day, and then what would she do at night? What would she make? Say something, Ken. Biscuits, homemade biscuits, and strawberry shortcake, whoopie pies, cookies. The guys loved it. So she's my favorite daughter-in-law. Oh, the only one, too. Wow, what an honor. Megan comes all the way from a little place called Kanosh, which is, if you threw a dart at the state of Utah and you hit it in the middle, you might hit Kanosh. Maybe, it's pretty small. And her brother Wyatt, who spent the summer with us, is now preparing to go and serve a mission in
Cambodia.
So he's learned, how do you pronounce it? Khmer? Khmer is the language. So he's not watching, but we think about him and pray for him. So Merry Christmas to you and your family. And then,
No, don't grab it.
just
Don't
give me the camera. I know how to do this.
Yeah.
So there's my boy. Jake's been working with me since 2011.
A lot
He was
longer than that.
Born in 1994, and he used to curl up on the end of my bench and go to sleep when he was 16.
Still do it.
So, and Jake, where's your box? Is it here? Oh, yeah.
Okay. Draw.
Jake's been practicing his dovetails and he's been filming me 2,000 plus episodes, so he knows his way around the shop. And he's coming with, so Jake goes everywhere with me. Jake's my right-hand man.
I like to
He's,
think of you as my right.
yeah, I know you do. Someday I will, when I get too old to do this. Anyway, we'll be down with Danny in Clarksville, Tennessee on the 17th and 18th. 17th and 18th of January. So make sure you get a hold of Danny at Planer's Edge, Hardwood Grove. What's his email? Or what's his Facebook page? Hardwood Grove. All right. If I forgot anybody, Luther, how can I wish you were here because I'd hug you. Luther is the reason why our business is where it is, and he's the reason why the Purple Heart Project is where it is. He is the backbone to it. He does amazing things with it. He's so good with the soldiers. They appreciate him, and we appreciate him beyond anything we could possibly say. Merry Christmas to you and Erica. There's not a lot of Ericas around here. And Super Dave, brother.
Forgot about him.
Yeah. We never forget Super Dave. He's part of our luggage. He's everywhere we go. See you in a couple of weeks.
The advantage to him is that he has no wife, so he can come in.
No, he has a wife that would just as soon he be on the road. And then there's Paul. And there's the vets that we're bringing back that are going to work with us in this coming 2020. Every class we're going to have a vet from a previous class. The one that we all have booked in so far is in July. Our EOD, Mark Witowski, is coming, and I'm excited about that. And I spoke with Philip Gustafson. And Philip, that's his dovetail. And I've told you this story before. Guy impressed me. 15 minutes into it, first time he ever held a saw, and he pulled that off. Well, I actually did the tailboard side of it, and I was thoroughly impressed. Anyway, so I'm just waiting on Philip to find out what week or month he wants to come. Are we ready to do the draw?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I'm running out of
we
stuff
had
to say.
one final donation from Brian Tyler.
Thanks,
And
Brian.
Shall I reveal the...
Did we get everybody's name added in that had donated earlier during the day?
We did.
Good.
Double checked twice. They're all
She
Checking
checked
it
her list
twice.
twice, yes.
Wow, what a cliche for the season.
Would you like the...
So-
should we give the grand total?
donation.
Yeah. Or do you want to do the draw first?
Give grand total in case we need to bum up, solicit
Today.
$25 more.
Our grand total this evening, our new record, is
Woo!
$9,616.
Awesome. Awesome. Three vets. That is incredible. Thank you, people. Thank you. There'll be something in your stocking. There'll be something in your heart.
There's a pretty good chance there will be something.
Yeah, could be.
Not a pretty good
What are we going to
chance.
do first? Now, so does everybody's name stay in?
Yes.
We don't take the name out when they win a prize, right?
No.
No, it stays in. So you might win more than one.
Especially if your name's in there 30 times.
Do we have the names in there?
No.
We're not no repeat, right?
We're ready.
Okay, Ken, why don't you come over and read it out? So we'll start right on here. So we'll do the shoot 'em me.
Charcuterie.
Who?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie board first.
Get up close there, Jake.
Abraham Pinsky. Abraham?
In Israel.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He was actually wondering when you're going there to teach a class.
Oh.
He would,
This is it. Hey, congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's going to Israel.
Yes, sir.
Wow, there's going to be some NB wood finery in Israel. That's really cool.
Okay. Next is for the wood hinge box with the card. We should put one of everybody's card in there.
Here we go. The wood hinge box. Winner is
Charlie Ray.
Yes, sir.
Charlie, hey, right here. Charlie, I can't think of anybody whose desk I would rather be sitting on in this format than you. Thank you.
so wait, what's next?
The next is the saw.
Oh, do the marking
Do
gauge.
the marking gauge next? All right. Whoever wins is going to be marking gauge, Purple Heart marking gauge.
Earl Hughes.
Earl Hughes. Earl, I made that one, so I get to say congratulations. Thank you, Earl. Appreciate it. It'll mark true. And wait a minute, no, we got to do the cutting board.
Oh, the bread box.
So
Or bread
the
boards.
cutting board, the cluster of cutting boards. That's what we'll call it. Is
Oh, that's good.
Is it really? Oh, awesome. 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 David, I am so happy that you're getting that. Ooh, perfect. Gluten-free bread.
Dovetail.
And now for the dovetail saw.
Here we go. Winner is
Do it slow. Donald Hollinger. Can you find out where he's from? This was first. This was second. That was third. The cluster of cutting boards was fourth, and the saw was fifth. Where's Don from? Don Hollinger, Hollinger.
Give me a second. Was it D-O-N? Yeah, D-O-N.
Donald.
Here it is. Don Hollinger is
Drum
in
roll.
Bloomington, Indiana.
Bloomington, Indiana. Great. Awesome. Enjoy it, Don. And show us the dovetails that you cut with them. Well, we're not all going to stand around and hug and sing We Wish You a Merry Christmas, but we wish you a Merry Christmas. You've made ours, and I hope we've done something to help make yours. We look for us sometime early in the new year, probably the middle of January. Say goodnight, everyone.
Good night.
You watch too much Wayne and Schuster. See you, folks. Thank you. Appreciate it. You made it a great night.